Hello everyone, this is Bianca from Dancesportlife. We're here at the Blackpool Dance Festival. Next to me I have Ina Jeliazkova and Troels Bager. Hi, how are you guys?
We're great, thanks.
Very good, yeah.
They're amazing dancers. They had an amazing career as amateur and now in professional they're finalists in all the best competitions in the world. How are you feeling before the big day?
I think we're pretty good, yeah. We've been here for a few days. We've
Yeah.
practiced, enjoyed the atmosphere. Yesterday we watched the Amateur Latin. It was a great night. And today we're just taking an easy, slow day, and then tomorrow it is. Yep.
Do you do something in particular to prepare for tomorrow? Any last practice?
I think the preparation has already been there, like the last few months, since the last Blackpool almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we're just kind of more doing how we feel. If we feel for practice, we'll go. If we feel for stretching, we'll do that. So it's a bit more in the instinct and give really what we feel for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would want to ask you, which is because I know you've been dancing in Blackpool for a lot of years
Yes.
now. Which is your best memory from Blackpool?
I
There's
think
quite
it's
a few.
difficult.
Yeah.
I think it's quite because we've been dancing so many times for so many years. We've been dancing together for 13 years together, and literally as many years we've been coming to Blackpool.
Yep.
So, and we've been fortunate and lucky and blessed to have so many good experiences here. So from when we actually won under 21, which was just like, oh wow, Blackpool, we won. What's happening? Like
Yes.
very unexpected, just as young kids dancing and just winning was just unbelievable. Till actually reaching the amateurs final, winning that was like the
it's
goal of a lifetime. And then the recent big one was when we turned professional and made the final straight away. And the same night, legends Michael and Joanne, they retired. So it was just such a culmination of like so many things that night. And for us to be able to stay on the floor with those champions and legends and be part, okay, that's our new chapter. Someone's leaving, we go in. Was unbelievable.
And this is like from a result perspective, but we have so many moments. For example, when Ashley Frawley came out with the casino cha-cha for the first time, and then we had this side-by-side cha-cha piece which hit right on the moment, and that was just goosebumps because we were facing the short side, and when we hit that side-by-side with the phrasing and the audience went, we just were overflown with emotion. It was spectacular. Literally, I am having goosebumps thinking about it right now. So these small moments here and there that are really we're addicted to. That's what every time you go on the floor, you are excited to experience that in a different way every single time. You know, this is wonderful. Yeah.
Let's walk through a bit of your history together. How was your first tryout? How did you start dancing together? When did you start dancing in your countries?
Well, there's quite a lot of history.
There is a bit of it.
So if I start with myself, I started at the local dance school in the small village in Denmark. And it was just literally just clapping, dancing, all that kind of thing. And my mom just sent there to kind of give me good manners and learn how to bow and take the girl and all that. But I wasn't really serious about it, and I stopped as well a few times until I was about 14, 15. Then it's actually when I got into it more.
Yeah, and at first I started with rhythm gymnastics, and I was very dedicated to that. And I tried a lot of other sports at that time. And then I found Latin American when I was around 11 years old. And literally, once I tried that, I dropped everything else and devoted myself completely to it.
What did make you fall in love with Latin America?
To be honest, nearly immediately. I didn't even realize how all of a sudden I dropped the rest of it and concentrated towards that. But it was instantaneous, I would say.
Was it the music? Was it the dresses? Was it the
I think it's a compilation of everything. At that time, I didn't really have that experience of competition or so, but I just liked the learning process. And probably I had a great surrounding and a great teacher at that time. So it's really nice to be able to be lucky to have that starting to be able to get hooked on something, and I got hooked a lot. Yeah.
And how did you end up together?
It's a funny story which we've told before, but every time I tell it, I think it's really interesting because a dear friend of ours, Morten Lohe, I actually had a tryout with him in Denmark, and that is how I got introduced to Troels. At that time, he had his partner, so we just kept in touch. Then he split up with his partner, and I had already another partner. So then for a year and a half, we were just all the time bouncing, back and forth. And then we were both without partners for 9 months, and then eventually we flew to Austria, to Vienna Open at that time, where we met for the weekend, and we tried on literally 2 square meters in the hallway with our on the concrete with our trainers on, sneakers on, and then we just felt that this was the right thing to do. And literally 3 weeks later, I was in Denmark, moved and ready to train.
How did it feel like to have that instant connection? Was it the connection? Was it a different thing? Because in my opinion, you are one of the best couples with the best connection.
Oh, thank you.
So
I think it's difficult to say because it's so many years ago and we were so young. We were just kids.
Yeah.
I mean, we were 17, 18, something around. So of course it's totally different how you experience it. So we just felt that it felt right. What it was, I'm not sure. Exactly. It was just, and again, I think we were very clear due to the fact that we've had unsuccessful partnerships in terms of they didn't last long, we sat down and we spoke. Okay, what do we want? Yeah. How do we want to practice? Who do you want to work at? What is your goals? So we spoke a lot about the things, because one thing is how it felt, but also what's your vision? What is your work ethics? What is all these things? We just sat down and spoke about it, and they said, okay, let's do it. Let's test it. One thing is the talking. Let's do it. And I think that was what actually clicked. That we realized that we had the same goal and we had the same desire to make things work and work forward. Maybe not the same way of getting it, but that's where we learn from different cultures, different personalities. And I think that's definitely what we felt.
And would you say that is a secret for such a long-lasting partnership?
Definitely
one of the secrets.
I think it's so difficult to say what's the secret, because I think each couple has different challenges based on their personalities, based on history, whatever it is, circumstances. So each couple will find that something is very natural, which is very difficult for others.
Yeah.
So it's to find whatever works and keep that, and then constantly work on whatever is not working or whatever is challenging, and know that you can make everything work if you want to.
Yeah, and I think it's the acceptance that, and the beauty that we're not the same, with the same, not with the same intention. We have the same intention, but how we get to the end goal is different, and that appreciation and letting the other person do it their way, and you becoming part of that, is one of the things that actually form the two entities together. So don't try to put yourself and your idea on the other person, but listen, have a thought about it, and appreciate that there is another way to go.
Yeah.
I think we were lucky as well to have people around us who constantly kept reminding us of that. And okay, just stick to the dancing, make things work. Like, it's not about especially when you're younger, it's not about how you feel or how you're like, oh, I need it this way. It's just make the dancing work. And then from there, you will find a confidence and a trust in each other to grow. But really, in some way, just shut up and dance. I think
Lady
so.
Gaga.
Yeah.
Really, I think people
She's
get
right.
too emotional, and of course it's difficult because you want it so much, and it's so important, and you put.
And
But
you
that's
take it personal.
yes,
Yeah.
and I think that's where we found definitely a balance, that we want the same. We really want the same, and the only way to do it is actually just to get to it, like
and find ways to work.
Yes, exactly.
Just make it work. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like any other relationship.
Yes. Absolutely.
So.
And what would you say are the 3 main characteristics of a great dance couple? What makes you great?
It's difficult to always say.
It's a difficult question because you cannot narrow it
You
down.
have to saturate really the main. I would say commitment, fearlessness, as in not fears, but fearless.
Yes.
Never be led by the fear, but actually by the love of what you do. I think this is really important in anything, not only dancing.
Yes.
So never let fear, destroy your playful heart as such. And acceptance, I think. This is just the first three that come to my mind today. If you ask me tomorrow,
probably
it will be another three.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit what we spoke about. I feel that there's a very big trust in a successful partnership, the trust in each other, but also the trust that whatever we produce, we believe in. So believe or trust, I think that's a big one, and the ability to overcome challenges. It's not necessarily if you look at it, the obvious couple that wins. If you look at it from like this is a successful couple in the beginning, might not end up being the champion because they don't have the ability to overcome the challenges. But the couple has a stamina and keep going and keep believing in this is gonna work. That's what I think is one of the abilities for successful. And then literally the passion and the love. That's for me. That's the three things. Yeah. The love, the passion, the trust in what you do, and the ability to overcome the challenges.
Once you said that, I don't know. The next question that popped into my head, and I don't really know why, is when you're on the dance floor, how do you manage to combine the artistry and the sport? Because in my eyes, you're a very artistic couple. When you dance, I can see the music. I don't listen to the music, I can see the music. So how do you manage that? How do you translate the movement into that artistry?
So first of all, the comparison between sport and art, I definitely think that there is a big part of the sport in what we're doing, because we wouldn't be able to express what we want if we're not fit enough. This is definite. So the sport part is also part of the competition, and it's also part of the hunger to do better, because getting your stamina to a high degree is also a commitment. So for me, the sport part is also choose the best sport preparation in order for your body to become more flexible and more expressive like that. Then that's how the combination is, that you take the sport as a preparation, but you also channel it through your everyday practice. Now the fact that how do we put the artistry through what we do, is that what you ask?
Yeah. How do you translate the move? Like what thoughts go through your mind when you perform?
Very few. In the actual performance, very few.
Yeah.
But I think that, at least from my point of view, the balance as well was that whatever physical mechanical thing I received, I always was curious the reason behind.
Exactly.
So whenever I was taught the coordination of hip action or muscular coordination and all these things, I always needed a purpose. Why? What do I need to use this for? So it's not just a physical thing to show physicality, but I wanted to find, okay, how can I use that to show rhythmicality? How can I actually use that stability and internal work to create a better lead for Ina? Will then blossom in something that she feels. So I feel that the actual mechanical things, I always had a very big need to know why. And that's when I then felt challenged in terms I'm not able to produce it. That's when I had to go into the more athletic side to say, okay, I need to train my body to be stronger, to then be able to produce this. So I used it more as the athletic side of it is another tool for me to become the best dancer.
Yes, exactly.
That's how I see it. So whenever I was challenged, I exactly took some of that. And then, of course, the challenge of dancing 5 rounds in Blackpool in the heat, and you want to be able to produce the best dancing in the final. So that's just another physical element that you have to add. And for me, that's whatever physical element I add is the sports side.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all that is the purpose to unlock what I want to produce, which is the artistic side.
Okay.
Yeah, so technically, once we walk on the floor, we do forget all of the things that we just
Yeah.
say because that's our homework. That's what we do in the studio. And then the devotion to the moment is the one that is going to bring all of those moments that you asked about, basically.
And it's not that we walk into the floor and now let's just feel whatever.
Exactly.
We are very clear in the plan. We are very clear in what we want to, how we want to channel it, and how we want to be together in that. But we also we trust that whatever we have learned in the past, we
Yeah.
trust whatever I feel and communicate with Ina, we will correspond with each other and ping pong in that moment.
Yeah.
Because if you plan everything, you're not open to the moment and can grab onto maybe a couple passing by that's having communication, the audience, the music, all these things. But if you're just there playing, you forget the competition. I'm still here to deliver. I'm still here to actually
Yeah, it's that
impress in
fine
some
line
way.
always.
And do you say the personality you have in real life shapes the way you perform artistically?
It's a good question.
It's my favorite question.
Yeah. I think it's the opposite way around for me, actually. I think that who I am on the floor has helped me a lot feel freer in the personality that I am. Somehow, in my particular example, I felt more free and exactly fearless in what I do on the dance floor. And then this is the way around for me that it helped me to become the Ina that I am off the floor. I'm sure that there's a lot of other things also culture-wise, growing up where I come from and the discipline that I had over there that helped me a lot to become the dancer I am. But right now, when you ask me, I think it's been a lot the other way around for me. Yeah.
And for you, Charles?
I think it's both ways, because I do recall exactly as amateur, young amateurs under 21, I had no clue who I was. I was just dancing, and suddenly people start telling me, "Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that." And suddenly you become aware of it, and maybe you take something on board.
You embody it.
And some of it is good and some of it is bad, because you embody it and that's who I am, and you grow. But in some way you also have there's a risk of you getting stuck in that as well. Oh, that's who I am. But I'm definitely a different person than I was 12, 13 years ago when we started. Hopefully.
Yeah, growing
Some
up.
things never change.
It's true.
But I think that it's a roller coaster that you grow in the low sides and the high. You grow, and it's to build that character and the personality naturally through life.
See? Yeah,
I think so. But so I definitely feel it both ways a lot.
And if you would go back to your 12-year-old self, what advice would you give to yourself?
I think it's difficult to give advice.
Knowing what you know today.
Yeah, because in some way I wouldn't change much.
Exactly.
Because I know what I know today because of the experience that I went through,
Yeah.
and I'm very pleased in some way from what we have been producing and what we have experienced and how we have done it. So I think
Don't change a thing, I would say. Just keep going and
Yeah,
listen to
true.
the instinct. Exactly. Because we do a lot of things instinctually when we are younger. And that's the beauty, because we don't carry any luggage. The older we get, the more experience we have, the more options we have. Versus when we are young, you just listen to your instinct and you go devote yourself to that. So I think that I wouldn't change any of the things that I did.
What about the best piece of advice you received from your dance coaches, let's say?
well, that's difficult. But we have had very supportive and clever, loving people around us our whole career.
Yeah.
So I think it's very difficult to point out one advice that has helped us, because there's been several during their career that has really helped us, and some of them has been major, like inputs, or like wow moment. Some of it has just been small things that later on was like, wow, that really made a big difference.
Okay, so now I would really want to know what you love the most about your dance partner.
Okay.
You want to start?
Even
No, but I have to pick up from the list. I'm not joking. It's for real. We have a really long partnership, and we have literally grown up together. So there's a lot of things that can go on that list as
Both?
positives.
maybe both in terms of like dancing skills or personal skills, like life character. Either way.
Well, one of the first things that come is just the whole vision of life that Troels has. I find him a very wise man. I've told him before that he's much more mature whenever we were even in our 20s. So I often come to him for advice for different things, and he always manages to tell me from his perspective, but something that will help me. So I'm very thankful for that always. It's the understanding and the love for what we do and for the personality I am. I'm not the easiest person, as many people aren't. You know, we all have our thing. But he's always respected and nurtured that and guided his improvement and his understanding without at all touching my personality in a different way. He's
That's
laughing
beautiful.
because it's really true.
You make me
It's
emotional.
Really, no, but it's really true. It's really like that, and I'm very thankful for this. And this is just a fraction of all the things that we constantly experience, you know. But I'm very grateful that I was so lucky to have someone and to keep having someone like him by my side on a daily basis. It's wonderful. Tack för det.
As again come back to, I think it's difficult to point out one thing because I feel that there's been so many impressions and so many things that has had such a huge impact on my life that Ina has given me. But I remember whenever we first met was just that enormous force and power of determination. That like if I have to be in the studio 18 hours, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. There was that kind of we can do more. Was a huge it was like putting fuel on my fire in a good way. It was like wow, like it was just pure energy.
Yeah.
That passion is one of the biggest visions that I have, and then from there, just the fact that she's extremely caring and loving in every way and it's not only towards me, it's towards everyone around, and that caring for details, not only in terms of the dancing, but for details of I just bought this for you, or I just got that for that kind of caring is extremely comforting and nice.
Oh, thank you for that question. That was it's so nice.
It's a good before the
It's
competition.
really good before the competition.
Yeah, and then just I was very impressed with Ina's ability to constantly that kind of not only stand 18 hours on the floor or whatever, but also to constantly dig deeper in her own self and find that personality that she has and that incredible woman that she's grown into.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
So sweet. Thanks.
I would love to leave the interview over there, but I do have one question because, for example, when I danced, I've never dated my dance partner, right? I always had a good connection with my partner, and at one point I remember I told him like, I love you, but not like a sister would love a brother.
Yeah.
And not like a girl would love a boy. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And I would love to, for you to explain that feeling a little bit for our audience. Is it the same for you, or?
I think it's a good way that you explain it, but I feel that the main point of it is that you don't have to explain love.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain it to anybody. You just know that it's there and it's unique in whatever. You don't have to put it into a box because love should never be put in a box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that love that Ina and I have for each other and for what we're doing together and what we have gone through together can't be put in a box.
No.
It's just there, and it's there for each other, and it will always be there, and it's there for people to look at and feel as well, because we're here in the dance world to give some of that we love doing.
Yeah.
And that's in some way it. So when people explain, oh, but what is your love? What is your relation? It's a bit.
Exactly.
Well, it's just there.
Yeah.
It's Troels and Ina.
Yeah. It's Troels and Ina. Thank you
That's
so
what it
much.
is.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure as well. And we're gonna cheer for you tomorrow.
Thank you so
Cannot
much.
wait to see you perform beautifully on that amazing floor.
Yeah, we
Thank
can't
you.
wait.
Yeah, we're excited.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.